Hola clase. Today we're going to talk about O to UE stem changing verbs. So make sure you have your O to UE stem changing verbs note guide available and that you're filling it in as we go through the PowerPoint together. Okay, remember that stem changes occur in the stem of the verb. The stem is everything except the ending. Now, we have already discussed this before, so this is not a new concept. Today we're going to talk about a different type of stem changing verb, but let's review the different parts of the verb. Okay, so we have hablar, to talk, comer, to eat, and escribir, to write. There are two parts to each of these verbs. Okay, one is the stem and one is the ending. The ending of all verbs in Spanish would be AR, ER, or IR. The stem is everything that is left when you remove the ending. Okay, so the verbs above do not have changes in the stem. So yes, we're going to talk about stem changing verbs today, but remember these verbs hablar, comer, and escribir, they do not have changes in the stem. Okay, so pause the video and fill in the first part of part A of the note guide. All right, so you have already learned to conjugate E to IE stem changing verbs. Here are some examples. I want to get good grades. Yo quiero sacar buenas notas. So here, when we've conjugated this verb, we've changed what would have been the E to IE because it is the yo form of the verb. Okay? Do you understand Spanish? ¿Entiendes tú español? Again, this verb here would have had an E that we changed to IE when we conjugated. And finally, the girls prefer to shop at the mall. Las chicas prefieren ir de compras en el centro comercial. This verb here did have an E that we stem changed to IE when we conjugated it. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and respond to the second blank, and also make sure you include a sentence example listed below, your choice. All right, so we just said we know E to IE stem changing verbs, okay? Now we're going to focus on O to UE stem changing verbs. So here's a list of those 6 verbs that stem change from O to UE. Okay, so just like the E to IE, there's a small list that we need to memorize. Okay, the first one is poder, which means to be able or can. There is an O in the stem that must change to UE when you conjugate it. Almorzar is to eat lunch. Notice the O here would stem change to UE when conjugated. Costar to cost, dormir to sleep, encontrar to find, and volver to return. These 6 verbs are O to UE stem changing verbs. And then we have one here that's an outlier. It's sort of special. This verb jugar, which means to play sports and games, is actually a U to UE. So there is a U in the infinitive instead of an O like all the others, but it will change to UE when conjugated. And also, please make sure that you do indicate that it means to play sports and games, because you've also learned the verb to play when talking about instruments, which is tocar, and that verb is not a stem changer. All right, so at this point, I need you to pause the video and fill in the part where it asks you to list these verbs and what they mean in English. All right, stem changing verbs have regular AR, ER, and IR endings, which means when you conjugate them, then, for example, if it's an AR verb, you would put O, as, a, amos, an, and so on. You still need to conjugate them using the endings you have learned. For O to UE stem changing verbs, the O in the stem will change to UE in all forms except nosotros and vosotros. So you remember when we studied E to IE stem changing verbs, we could not stem change those verbs in the nosotros or vosotros forms, and that will be the case with these O to UE verbs as well. Okay, pause the video and fill in the last part of part A of the note guide. All right, let's look at this verb poder. Remember, it is an O to UE stem changing verb. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to conjugate and stem change the ones that will stem change. So remember, we talked about this being a shoe or a boot verb, because you can draw a shoe or a boot around the ones that change. Okay, so notice when I draw the shoe or the boot, it leaves out nosotros and vosotros because those will not stem change. So notice here what we've done is we've changed the O to UE in all forms except nosotros and vosotros, and we've also made sure to drop the ER and add the correct endings. Because it is an ER verb, we would add back O, es, a, hemos, en. Okay, pause the video and fill in part B of the note guide. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure we have this verb jugar on our note guide as well because it is special. It is not an O to UE, it's a U to UE because jugar does not have an O in the stem to change, okay? But I do want to make sure that you know that this one is a stem changer, okay? Remember that jugar means to play, specifically sports and games. All right, so what we've done here is we've stem changed all of the forms that fall inside the shoe or the boot, okay? See, I'm doing the little shoe or the boot, leaving out nosotros and vosotros because those do not stem change. So we've changed the U to UE in all forms except nosotros and vosotros. And we've conjugated the verb by dropping the AR and adding the appropriate ending for AR verbs. So o, as, a, amos, an. Pause the video and fill in part C. Okay, practiquemos. Let's practice. Conjugate these stem changing verbs. Notice that they give us a variety. Each one has a different verb for us to change. The first one wants us to take this verb almorzar, to eat lunch, and conjugate it according to the yo subject to say, I eat lunch in the cafeteria. So when we conjugate, we need to take this O out and make it UE and put back the entire stem. So we'll start with ALMUERZ. Now we will drop the AR and add O because yo is the subject. Yo almuerzo en la cafetería. Pause the video and fill in the rest. All right, let's check our answers. Juan can play the piano. My cats sleep a lot. We cannot find the movie theater. Are you returning at 8 o'clock? The salad costs a lot. And I play sports every day. So notice what we've done is we've changed the O in poder to UE, and we've conjugated as though Juan or he is the subject. Remember, he is él, and that would mean we would drop the ER and add E. Okay, Juan puede tocar el piano. Here we've taken the verb dormir, and we've changed the O to UE, and then we've dropped the IR and added EN. So duermen. Okay, nosotros. Remember when we see nosotros, that we cannot stem change those verbs. So the verb encontrar here will not change from O to UE. The O will stay in the stem, and then we will drop the R and add amos because it is an AR verb. Encontramos. Cinco. The verb volver needs to change the O to UE because it's the to form, and then drop the ER and add ES because it's the to form. So vuelves. Okay? Salad is not a person. But remember, we've talked about nouns having gender in Spanish. The word for salad is feminine and singular. Therefore, it's like saying ella. So we would use the ella form of the verb costar. We would take out that O and add UE in place, and then drop the AR and put the A here because it is an AR verb, and that would be the ending for ella. So cuesta. And finally, the verb jugar, remember, is a U to UE. So we've dropped that U, changed it to UE, dropped the AR from the end, and put O on because yo is the subject. So juego. Write any questions you may have on your note guide and make sure to ask them as soon as class begins. There will be a 5-point mini quiz the next day at the very beginning of class, and take the initiative to watch the video more than once in order to fully and completely understand the content covered in the video and or to clear up any confusion. At this point, please fill in part E of your note guide if you have any questions. Adios!